here. For most of you, it's daytime, but some of you, it's nighttime. And we're going to get started here. We're going to record this presentation for everyone. So welcome to all of those that are actually here live. And also welcome to all of you that are going to join me in the recording. So we're going to just move to the next slide. So we want to start off by just inviting everyone to help support Feeding South Florida by donating at this link you see here. It's Feeding South Florida. You'll see a link, and we appreciate your support. You know, we live in trying times now, and I'm all about helping those in need, humans and animals alike. So please do your best to help support Feeding South Florida. Okay, so before we begin, I want to just note that no medical claims are made here, okay? These technologies and protocols are intended for experimental and research purposes only, wink, wink. And all of the contents in this presentation are meant not to substitute for professional medical care, surgical and psychiatric care. So we got that out of the way. So here's my CV for those of you that are interested. I'm a forever student. I'm currently studying at Stanford University for my second PhD with genetics and genomics, okay? So I have my first PhD and master's in natural medicine, focusing on quantum physics and natural medicine. So that is who I am. Here's 5 of my peer-reviewed published research you can find at the International Journal for Scientific Research. I invite you to check that out. So here's today's objectives. I want everyone to please leave all your belief systems, forget everything you know, just leave it at the door. I want to share with you just how much we don't know, and I want to help open your mind to the potential of true human potential. And this is pretty much why we're here, isn't it? To learn new things. So here are some facts. I come from a family of medical doctors. Both my parents are medical MDs, surgeons, and OBGYN. Unfortunately, modern science only knows a fraction of what the body can actually do. You know, you cannot, I mean, how can you fix or heal the physical human body if you don't even understand that there are energy portions to the body, including chakras and things known as morphogenetic fields or morphogenetic energy body, which actually holds the instructional blueprints for cellular atomic matter, okay? Now, to heal the human body without understanding there is an energetic component is like asking an auto mechanic to repair the space shuttle. It will never happen, okay? So I want you to keep this in mind. Now, I want to share with everyone that in September 10th of 2000, about 20 years ago, I actually died and I had a near-death experience. I had a cardiac arrest due to a drug overdose. And in that, I actually came back with a new lease on life, if you will, a new perspective on actually, we are actually energy beings. We're consciousness beings having a biochemical experience. And when I came back from that near-death experience, I really wanted to just replicate, you know, that experience in that I wanted to see if I could prevent disease, because I understood now that we were energy beings. We were consciousness first and then matter. And I wanted to see if it was possible to actually prevent disease and reverse disease with some of the information that I came back with from my near-death experience. So the first rule that I actually laid the foundation for was that all disease is actually a miasm or a scalar wave distortions caused by epigenetic factors within the blueprint, the templates of the DNA. Now, I will go into what scalar waves are very shortly, so don't fret, all right? I will explain what they are. So the RASHA technology that I'm going to share with you today is designed to communicate with our DNA and to assist the body to heal itself. That is it, okay? This technology is very, let's say, revolutionary, and I'm excited to share more. Now, here's a picture of the RASHA technology. It is about reprogramming those morphogenetic fields that I talked about earlier. Remember, morphogenetic fields are the blueprint of the cells. Now, morphogenetic fields are made up of scalar energy. What is scalar energy? Just think of it as the primal substance of the cosmos. I have a quote here that scalar energy is the substance God creates with, okay? Because God needs a substance to create with, and scalar energy is it. So I'm going to give you a very quick PhD in what scalar energy is. Think about electrical energy as energy expanding or oscillating energy. Think magnetic energy as energy holding or vibration. Scalar is simply energy plus information. Okay, there you have it. You have a PhD in scalar energy. So the scalar energy, it really, the foundation of it comes to a particle known as the source particle. It's not about the God particle, it's the source particle. And think of this as the smallest unit of energy or of consciousness imaginable, okay? So 800 million source particles will fit in a proton. Okay. And this process, this is a fission fusion process that is eternal and perpetual. So as it expands, light is created. As it contracts, sound is created. Now, you may ask, what is an example of scalar energy? Our thoughts are scalar in nature. So our thoughts are things. Do you ever think about, a thought that you'd maybe thought last week, perhaps manifested and materialized in your life? For example, this presentation, this Carillon Conversations presentation, was but a thought months ago, now is reality. Are you guys with me? So it makes sense, doesn't it? So this is because our brain, when you harmonize the left and right hemispheres of the brain, it becomes the most powerful scalar energy generator, according to a gentleman who's much smarter than I, and you may or may not have heard of, Nikola Tesla. Okay, so this is why it's so important to become relaxed. And when you want to meditate or you want to calm down, it's important to come from that fight or flight state to that resting state. Okay, we call it the parasympathetic state. Okay, so now, here are scientific research, published research that goes into scalar energy, all right? So let's talk first about the benefits of scalar energy, because many people want to know, how does scalar energy help you? Well, according to Nikola Tesla, scalar energy naturally nullifies man-made EMF, electrosmog, and also geopathic stress, which is the natural radiation that comes from the earth. Scalar energy, exposure to scalar energy increases the energy level of every single cell in the body. So if the ideal range is 70 to 90 millivolts and you have cancer at 4, exposure to scalar energy will increase your energy level. It protects your DNA from damage. And this is very important for you scientists and doctors out there. It increases the energy level of every hydrogen atom in the body. Now, as you know, we are hydrogen beings. So to do this is very important when it comes to DNA repair, okay? Exposure to scalar energy also increases natural detoxification of removing toxins from the cell, and increases the nutrient intake of every cell in the body, all right? Exposure to scalar energy also cleanses the blood. It improves chylomicron and triglyceride profiles and improves fibrin patterns just by being exposed to scalar energy. It improves immune system function by as much as 149%. And it actually acts as a natural antidepressant since it inhibits the uptake of noradrenaline in the PC12 nerve. And being exposed to scalar energy literally balances both hemispheres of the brain. So there are many, many benefits of scalar energy. And a lot of this research was done by the Max Planck Institute in Germany. A scientist by the name of Dr. Puharich actually conducted studies exposing microorganisms to scalar energy and noticed that in E. coli microorganisms, exposure to an 8 hertz scalar field increased activity of the RAD6 gene, which codes for protein involved in DNA repair. Are you understanding now? There's a common thread here with being exposed to scalar energy at the DNA level, okay? So lab tests prove after 30 minutes exposure to scalar energy, you have clumped cells that, clumped cells actually will actually portray, say, a sick person, right? In 13 minutes, these cells are unclumped and thus postulating and proving that improved lymphatic and cardiovascular systems will occur being exposed to scalar energy. Okay, here's an interesting fact. What scalar energy does to pathogens, viruses, fungi, it's unparalleled what scalar energy does to fungus and viruses, because it simply disassembles the pathogens, such as let's take Candida albicans, for instance. Okay, it will take that and just naturally disassemble it to its natural elements, such as carbon, nitrogen, etc., etc. Okay, so scalar versus pathogens is unparalleled. All right, so let's talk about the power of sound, because we use sound in our RASHA technology. And as you know, Dr. Bruce Lipton has showed that emotions can change our DNA through sound, through words, okay? And here is a published research paper by 2 individuals, Fossar and Bludorf, that prove that DNA is influenced by words and frequencies. And the key, get this, lies within the 90% of the non-coding for protein DNA, often misrepresented as junk DNA, which I now rename and relabel potential DNA, okay? So in simpler terms, words and sentences can reprogram our DNA. Here's a published research by a Dr. MD, PhD, Dr. Carlo Ventura, who actually proved that DNA could be reprogrammed using epigenetic information delivered by magnetic fields, sound vibrations, and coherent water. He's actually a professor of biology at the University of Bologna, and his work was founded by the 2012 Nobel Prize winners in physiology and medicine, Sir John Gordon and Shinya Yamanaka, that proved they won the Nobel Prize for the discovery that mature adult cells could be epigenetically reprogrammed back to the pluripotent state or the embryonic state. Okay, so if 2 Nobel Prize winners can prove this, and it's been proved over and over again, specifically with Dr. Carlo Ventura. Here's one of his published research proving turning on stem cell cardiogenesis with extremely low frequency magnetic fields. And here is the slides that prove this. He used a sinusoidal magnetic field at 50 hertz, and this is groundbreaking research, okay? Here's another paper using radio frequency, and they did it on embryonic stem cells for a mouse, proving tissue regeneration using low magnetic fields, okay? So here are some of the geniuses and the technologies of the past that actually emerge and are found in the RASHA, okay? Jack Slovak, a dear friend of mine, he was a physicist, electrical engineer, worked for pretty much all the top secret defense projects, NSA, CIA, NSA. If it wasn't for Jack, he actually helped me develop the mathematics behind our scalar coils. Here are scalar coils, which are hand wound by our top-notch engineers at One Stop Energies. Here is another gentleman who you may or may not have heard of, Nikola Tesla, the father of scalar energy. We give all the kudos to him. And interesting enough, you know, Tesla lived to 86 years old, far outliving men at that age that were dying at 65 in 1943. And it is attributed to the fact that Tesla was exposed to extreme amounts of scalar energy, okay? Scalar energy actually helped him live longer. Antoine Priori, electrical engineer, not many people have heard of him, but Antoine Priori created, get this, the Priori anti-cancer machine that actually took diseased cells and reversed them. Are you with me? Now, you'll probably be saying there's no way in hell, but yes, he had a 100% cure rate for terminal cancer and leukemia, albeit in animals. But when Antoine Priori started to do human trials, the French Medical Association shut him down, okay? So all of his work, Anton Priori's work, was based on Russian research known as the Kazneshev experiments, okay? Now, the Kazneshev experiments had to do with something called phase conjugation or time reversal. So I invite you, if you think I am, pulling your leg, I am not. This research was done in the Soviet Union at the time, and I invite you to take a look at the reference at the bottom of the slide. If you get this, please do your due diligence and homework and see that the Soviet Union already proved they can take a regular healthy cell, cause disease or even almost cell death, and reverse it. Okay, so simply fascinating, and it really comes down to time reversal. Okay, taking a healthy cell, causing it to disease, and reversing it. This was the basis and proof of the Kazneshev experiments. Here, Dr. Royal Rife, another genius who I give all the kudos to. He was known as the father of resonant frequency and the killer of cancer. In our technology, we have plasma gases, scalar energy, and Royal Rife frequencies among the myriad of frequencies that we have in our software. So, and another gentleman that I give high praise to was the late Dr. Bob Becker, the father of electromedicine. Now, interestingly enough, Becker proved that it is not the immune system. I know a lot of doctors out there are going to just, challenge this, but it's true. The late Dr. Rob Becker proved that the immune system is not the healing system of the body. Yes, the immune system, it goes out after the invader cells, the pathogens, etc., but it does not heal the body, not even its own damaged cells. What the late Dr. Robert Becker proved, it is the cellular regenerative system that heals the body. And this system is an electromagnetic scalar system, okay? So it's very interesting to know. And here's just but one of his published research papers that he proved in his lifetime, okay? Now, I'm going to show you one of our case studies that we used for the RASHA, okay? 23-year-old male, opioid addiction, depression, suicidal. This was, a very sensitive case because this was is my son actually. We sent him to rehab, 2-month rehab, failed. Then he came out to me. He did a 3-month RASHA protocol, but within that, it was a 12-week, 25-session, okay, protocol. And we did a 90 minutes session, okay? So for the first 2 weeks, there were 14 sessions, 90-minute sessions each daily. Third week, it was 3 90-minute sessions. And from week 4 to week 12, it was 1 90-minute session. And at the end of the first week, he only had 1 24-hour withdrawal symptom. At the end of the second week, he was completely opioid free and not craving it. And at the end of 4 weeks, he was no longer depressed and no longer hearing or having suicidal thoughts. Okay? So I want to tell you right now, do you think for any moment that I would risk my own child if I didn't think or know that this technology would work? Okay, so my son is living proof in this case. Okay, here is a second case. Wait, no, that wasn't the second. This is another case. 7-year-old male, autistic. Okay, so we actually took a child that was diagnosed at age 2.5. Little to no progress using the biomedical approach. And this actually is our hallmark case. It did take a few years, but we actually took a autistic child at 2.5, and 4 or 5 years later, he was no longer considered autistic according to the ATEC score. Okay, so this is our hallmark autism case. Now, we also, for those of you that may or may not know trigeminal neuralgia, it is a case where pretty much the left side or the right side of the face is in pain due to myriad of factors, but there's no known remedy or protocol or fix for trigeminal neuralgia. And we did 7 sessions, 60 minutes each, and this woman was episode free. Okay, and the thing about scalar technology, everyone, is it does not regress. Okay, because scalar energy is the language of our DNA, specifically our potential DNA. And when you talk the language of our DNA, there is little to zero regression. This is likened to going to China and trying to speak Chinese, but you're speaking, let's say, Greek or Russian. You'll never get by. You'll never function. You'll get nothing will ever get done. Are you with me? So very important to understand this. And the last case we have was 74-year-old triple stroke Alzheimer's victim. Okay, so let's just put it this way. Stroke 1 and 2, he used the biomedical approach, pharmaceuticals, et cetera, et cetera. For the first stroke, it took him a year to recover. Second stroke, it took him several months to recover. Stroke 3, which happened in 2017, he specifically only did the RASHA, and within 1 week, the doctors were able to get his BP and his cholesterol under control. Okay, so something is happening here at the DNA level, everyone. I just want you to know that. And it is very exciting because pretty much every case that we've had, and it's not about getting 5% or 10% progress. Okay, you can go somewhere else for that. All right, you can go to do other modalities and protocols and get 5 to 10% increase. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about full reversal on pretty much every pathology that we are engaged with. Okay, and let me tell you something. For one moment, don't you think that there is technology out there, say in the industrial military complex or the private sector, that they don't have these scalar technologies that they're using on their soldiers? So I'm telling you right now, I'm excited because the Carillon resort is the first wellness resort in the United States that actually is carrying our technology. I'm very excited for this opportunity. Let's see. So the conclusion here is, pretty much, and you'll never hear this from anyone else, the body ages, okay, gradually, because the cellular regenerative system is inoperative. It deteriorates, okay? And it needs to be activated and restored, okay, in order to reverse aging, let's just say, amongst other things, okay? And I'm emphasizing here that our RASHA technology not only activates our cellular regenerative system, but it enhances the human's body own natural healing mechanism, okay? Which, guess what? Does not appear and is not taught in medical science. So this type of scalar technology is now available to you at the Carillon, Miami. I'm going to end my presentation here, and we will open up for questions for anyone that is interested. So thank you. And you can just email us for any comments, suggestions, questions. So anyone have any questions? Any of the, I want to welcome Mike here, Owen, Anat, Suzanne, hi Suzanne, Sandra, Janice, and Jennifer, how are you? What's up, Hawaii? So, first question, how does one know how many sessions to do per issue? From Jen Matig. Thanks, Jen. So here it is. Every single human is individual, has different relationships, emotions, etc., etc. I usually do a 3-month protocol, which includes 12 sessions, okay? Depending on the severity of the pathology, we usually start off with 12 sessions, which spans 3 months, okay? So thank you, Anat. What does RASHA mean? RASHA mean, the word RASHA in the ancient Anuhasi language, which is the predecessor language of the ancient Anasazi American Indian language, means dark matter body or dark matter energy body. Yes, because everyone talks about the light body, they talk about the sound body, they talk about the physical body, but they have no idea that our physical body is founded on dark matter template or dark matter energy. Mike. Hi, Mike. How are you? A long time. What specific frequencies can be used with the RASHA to start to activate our 12-strand DNA to its full potential? Fantastic question, Mike. That lies within what we call the source spiral frequencies. The source spiral frequencies is those frequency numerical expansion. That is the ×2, right? And you can, if you don't have it, just email me at jerry@therasha.com. That's JERE @therasha.com, and we will send that to you. But for those of you that do have a RASHA, please click the updates, because our new version, 3.4 version of the software, is out, and the source spiral frequencies are included there. Owen, hey Owen, how are you? How does the Herxheimer effect, if any, compare to traditional Rife plasma? Okay, so for those of you that know, the Herxheimer is it's a detoxification effect that occurs in any type of protocol, whether it's the Scalar, RASHA, or it could be the Rife, right? So now, because you are exposed to scalar energy, remember what scalar does. It's a natural detoxification at the cellular level, so it does mitigate and modulate the Herxheimer effect, Owen, okay? So you're not going to get too much of a Herc, because pure scalar energy mitigates that hardcore Herxheimer detoxification process. Okay, Jen, there are physical conditions to treat, but what if we want to focus on removing past traumas that still have the ability to trigger us? Can we specifically focus on that? Yes, you would utilize the source tones. The source tones are specific tones that and do it single, okay, each one by itself. The source tones literally addresses the guilt and fear in the trauma or the emotional cause of the trauma. Okay, it will literally reprogram and repattern the DNA at the morphogenetic level. It will reprogram and heal the relationship at the time of whatever the pathology is, or the core emotional emotional trauma. There was a relationship that you had that actually shifted. It actually heals the relationship as well. Okay, so there's the emotional component of the guilt and fear. There is the relationship at the the core relationship that was actually distorted or strained, and then there's also, you want to redo that pattern at the morphogenetic level. Yes, great questions. I agree. So yeah, any other questions? So for how long on the source tones? Yeah, I would, now, okay, now I'm going to just preface this. Source tones, okay, minimum 15 minutes, okay, maximum no longer than 45. Why am I saying that? Because make no mistake about it, you will release emotions. So it's either going to come in silent emotions, screaming, crying, anger, etc., etc. Okay, so prepare. I'm just saying, prepare for the release of these emotionals. Okay, because you don't want to hold these emotions in, because if you hold these emotions in, these emotions will someday translate and materialize into a pathology. Okay, yes, I can imagine, Jen, but be kind to yourself. So if you're going to release the emotions with the source tones, always usually go to the manual RASHA section and do the source spiral frequencies. Okay, yeah, got it. All right, very well. Yeah, this was good. I bet you didn't think I can go through 52 slides in less than 30 minutes, but that's because, remember something, you can never share something or never teach something, information, knowledge, etc., if it's one, not in your DNA, and two, you have not experienced it. Experiential knowledge outweighs reading books, going to school, etc., etc. All right. So, any more questions? If we don't have any more questions, I want to just remind everyone, please do your let's say service to humanity, and we invite you to support Feeding South Florida by donating on that link, that Feeding South Florida link. It's a very worthy and humanitarian cause. And if you have any questions for me, like I said, jerry@therasha.com. And for those of you that are hearing this information for the first time, especially the Carillon people, I invite you, okay, to listen to the energy behind my words, because I'm not asking you to believe a word I say. I'm telling you, close your eyes, listen to the energy behind my words, because that is where you'll find my intention, or anyone's intention for that matter, okay? I'm not asking you to believe a word I say. Listen to the energy behind my words. There you'll find out if I'm telling the truth or I'm telling you a fib, okay? And I always end my presentations with this, okay? Truth is stranger than fiction, okay? But I'd rather live my life in truth than a lie, all right? Having said that, if there are no more questions, we will end today's presentation. Okay. I want to thank everyone that was on today, and I want to thank everyone that's going to be listening to this presentation. And if I don't shock you or cause you to have a paradigm shift, I didn't do my job. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone at the Carillon. Thank you, everyone that's on. And We'll talk soon. Source bless. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.